Hello, my very dear Gemini. This is your reading for the week of June 30th, or whenever it resonates, and it will not be for everybody. Gemini, the image that I get of you is you standing out over your garden with a deep breath and taking in everything that you've accomplished. It's like if your garden were an analogy for your life, it would be all the things that you've planted that are now coming to fruition. And you can see areas that need to be worked on. But for the most part, you're feeling quite satisfied and proud and confident and proud, but in a really good, strong way. You're owning your abilities in a very different way that is lending you a sense of confidence. And Spirit's very, very happy about that. Now, then the next thing that happens is I see you going from this position into this position where you're thinking, and it's like literally like your head's going a million miles a minute, and it's like even to the point where I don't even know if the thoughts are clear to you anymore. They're running through so fast. What the feeling that I got with was that, and the sense that I'm getting from Spirit, and certainly the way they've played the cards out, is part of the reason that you sometimes lose your newfound sense of well-being and accomplishment and pride and confidence is because there can be a tendency to go back into old ways of speaking and old ways of reacting that are just so habitual that you don't even realize they're sort of sapping your power. Because this is very much about your personal power. And the Spirit is saying, how do I put this? Please tell me, how do I put this? It's not necessarily shame, but there can be a tendency to apologize for yourself. And so it might be out of not shame, but it might be out of embarrassment. It might be out of not wanting to seem obstructive in some way, or too demanding, or too needy. It can be any of those things. So the card that you're getting here is risk success, which means basically just take a chance that everything you're doing is perfect. And try not to apologize for yourself. Try not to apologize for making demands that are appropriate, for setting boundaries that are good. Try not to worry or apologize for doing things that are good for you, even if it disappoints other people. Okay? Because really it's up to them to deal with their life and whether or not they're disappointed. So you're being told, no, you don't need to apologize for who you are. And that way of being is an old way of being that comes out of a certain level of insecurity that you don't actually have anymore. You're far more confident, far more able to set boundaries. You've done a lot of work in the last few years to really come into your own and to really understand yourself in a way where you can work with who you are in a loving way instead of a critical way. And that's brilliant, Gemini. That is absolutely brilliant. So now what you're being asked is take stock of old words, old ways of, old patterns of thinking, old patterns of responding that are not actually aligned with who you are now. And look at the situations now. So this is particularly difficult when it's relationships that you've had for a while that are based on an old way of being. It's almost like a knee-jerk reaction for all of us just to go into those old responses. So take the time to allow yourself to, okay, take the time to allow yourself to slow down and really check in with what the appropriate response would be for who you are today with this person who's been in your life. I mean, for who you are today with every new person, for sure. But especially when it's older relationships where those patterns are very, very entrenched. And you're being told, Be fierce. This is the energy you're being told. This is a quality of intensity and passion. There's a sense of being powerful in our ability to do things and stand for what we believe in. It's not about aggression and violence. It's one of passionate confidence and assertiveness. I love that for you, Gemini. That is your keynote, okay? I leave you with that, my very dear friends. Good job on your evolutionary path here. And this is just a little tip, a little bit of guidance from Spirit on how to keep that moving and not get stuck in old patterns and old energy. Okay? Take care, my dears.